In my last video, I talked about Gabriel Agreste, and I came across a comment of somebody bringing up Nathalie. Specifically, they were asking how she could have ever fallen for somebody like Gabriel, someone so evil. And I really wanted to talk about this because, well, first of all, I find Gabriel and Nathalie's relationship really interesting. I just think the idea of somebody being in love with a villain is really interesting, but also we are in a hiatus right now, and I will grab at any form of content I can get.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Oh, my stammering.
And honestly, I would say that there are two answers to this question. The first one is really easy and simple. I think it's one we can all very easily agree on and can see, is that she was in love with him. And when you're in love with somebody, typically that love kind of blinds you from every single flaw. You kind of just put them on this pedestal, like they literally can do no wrong, even if they are a really bad person. So I think that really plays into it a lot. I think because she was in love with him, she had a hard time accepting that Gabriel was a bad guy, that he was a villain, that what he was doing wasn't for the greater good. The second reason is a little bit more tricky. Honestly, knowing Nathalie, I don't think she would ever fall for somebody like Gabriel. She's not really one to be in love with a bad person. She wouldn't willingly be in love with the villain, but like obviously she was. And I think it kind of comes down to when she fell in love with Gabriel. In season 5, I think it was in Passion, Adrian asked Nathalie about being in love, and it goes to this picture of Gabriel and Emily, you know, being a couple, and then Nathalie just kind of observing them, very obviously implying that she was in love with Gabriel, which, I mean, we already knew that she was in love with Gabriel, but what I mean is, like, it shows us that she has been in love with him for what, like 15, maybe even like 16 years, which is a long time. And the reason why this is important is because the Gabriel that we know now was not the same Gabriel back then. From what has been explained to us in the show, he was supposedly this really nice, kind, sweet guy, which personally I can't imagine, but okay, I guess. And that is the Gabriel that she fell in love with. And typically when you fall in love with someone, especially if it's, you know, kind of just like a crush, like how it was with Gabriel and Nathalie, your first impression of them is kind of what sticks with you no matter what. Like if they were a really kind, gentle person when you first met them, years later when they're a terrible person, you still have that good perception of them. And I think that this is really, really evident in Nathalie, because at one point in the show, I think it might have been like Stormy Weather 2, Nathalie says something about being in love with Gabriel because he would do anything for his family, which if you guys know anything in Miraculous, you would know that Gabriel was not doing it for his family. He was very selfish, which is why that line has always stood out to me. So here she is thinking that Gabriel is just doing everything. He's being the good person and he's making sure that Adrian is happy, but like that's not what he's doing. And to me, that perception kind of goes back to when she first met him, because when she first met him, obviously Emily couldn't get pregnant, and so you have Gabriel who is trying to do everything he can so that way Emily would be able to have a kid, aka Gabriel is doing everything for his family. So basically, here you have this girl who met this guy who was willing to do anything and everything for his family. And so when Emily died and he started doing all of this stuff to try and get her back, she just saw it as him doing anything and everything for his family, because that's the guy that she first met and fell in love with. Like when we have a good perception of somebody, we try to keep it. Even if they're doing terrible things, our brain just tries to justify it to make us think that they're still the same person that they used to be, which is like 100% what was going on with Nathalie. She was just trying to convince herself that evil Gabriel that she knows now is still the same kind-hearted guy that she fell in love with. Because why would she want to be in love with a guy that's evil? She wouldn't, right? So her brain is going to try and make Gabriel out to be this good person, because if he's a good person, then she can be in love with him. Which is really how I think she was able to do all of those horrible things, because obviously like she was working with Gabriel, she was a part of a lot of those, you know, really evil terrorizing plans. She also helped Gabriel out a lot in those plans and like the destruction of everything. And I think because she was in love with him and because her brain was telling her that he was still the same loving, caring, nice guy that she met before, everything that she was doing was good. And like obviously deep down inside she definitely knew what she was doing was wrong, but like the love was so blinding, which really just makes you realize just how crazy you can become with love. Love just affects you and makes you do some crazy things.